Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And my phone's fault. Oh, yeah, this is just great. Technical difficulties, right? All right, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it, bud.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Definitely, same, yes. So, I guess the first question I want to start out asking you, basically, is when was the first time you actually started to dance and fall in love with dancing?
So the first time I started dancing, I guess if you asked my parents, would be when I was like 3, 4, 5. I would watch myself in the reflection of our oven and I would dance and just dance and dance and dance. And I couldn't sit still. We would like be eating dinners. And I remember actually even like eating dinners and leaving the table mid rice to go dance, like all the time. I just couldn't stop. So they put me in dance classes when I was 5. And I started with like musical theater for a couple years. And then
Hmm.
by age 7, I started doing most styles. I was doing jazz and ballet and hip hop and lyrical and all that stuff. So by age 7, I was dancing pretty much like 5 days a week.
Oh my
And
God, wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah. And then it just progressed from there and got more and more intense. I don't ever remember not loving it. So I don't remember a time like you asked when I fell in love with it. I don't ever remember not loving it. So I think since I started dancing, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. So you do like every form of dance then, right? Like you do like a whole bunch of different forms.
Yeah. I can't say I do like every form because there's so many forms, but I have trained in many forms. I would definitely say I'm a very versatile dancer. But there's certain styles, like certain street styles, I'm not an expert at all. But I have trained in most styles for sure. Yeah.
Ah, it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
And who are some like dancers that you grew up watching who inspired you?
Wow. There were so many dancers. So You Think You Can Dance was huge when I was a kid. And I remember I was always training for So You Think You Can Dance. I didn't even think about like a career as a dancer. It was more I wanted to be on So You Think You Can Dance. And so I was so inspired by all of the dancers on that show. And it's funny because the year that I turned 18, which was the age you had to be to audition, was the first year that they canceled the Canadian show. So the timing
Oh
of it didn't work
no.
out. Yeah, so I never had a chance to actually audition, which really sucks. But honestly, all of the dancers on that show. And it's funny because like fast forward now as an adult, all of those dancers are now like my friends, my colleagues, people I work with, people I teach with. So it's funny how it's become super full circle. But truly I idolized everyone on that show growing up. Like I just really wanted to be on So You Think You Can Dance. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Like I always loved Paula Abdul. Like I think she's an incredible
Yes.
choreographer and
Yes.
dancer and
Mm.
yeah, I was always a fan of hers.
I would say, yeah, me too. And like someone else I could think of right now even is Derek Huff. He was not from So You Think. He was more Dancing with the Stars world. But Derek Huff was someone that I like really looked up to too, because he was just like the charisma and the passion and the versatility as well. Like, yeah, definitely. Hmm.
Awesome, awesome. And when you're getting ready to like dance or choreograph, like how do you get in a mind frame for that? Like how do you think of everything and get into a mind frame to to do like the right dance moves and the right choreography for the dance?
So if so I'll separate that into two because I would think if I'm performing versus if I'm choreographing, it's pretty different. So if I'm performing, for me, it's about like muscle memory, for example. So I'm doing like sections of the dance over and over so that it becomes like in my body. The repetition is like huge. That's more of on a physical level. Mental, I meditate every single day, and I find that meditation helps
Oh,
me
wow.
to stay calm and to stay present and not get too in my head because you really want to be in your body when you're dancing. If you're too in your head, then you're thinking about it, right? So you kind of want to get more in your
Sure.
body, more grounded. So that helps me a lot to stay grounded. Also I stretch. Like still now, I'm 30 years old and I still stretch pretty much every single day. So that's definitely a thing that helps me a lot on to get, my body limber and ready to go. Um,
Hmm.
and then choreographing for me, it's all about the song. So I'll connect to a song first before anything, and I'll listen to it over and over and over and over until most people would be sick of it. But for me, it's like, so I understand the song inside and out. And then I feel like, okay, now I can choreograph to it because I know the musicality, I know what I want to hit, I know what story maybe I want to tell. Yeah, and it depends if it's for a class combo or something that I'm just teaching 30 seconds to a group, or am I setting like a full piece, you know what I mean? That's going to go on stage with like
Hmm.
20 dancers. So it differs depending on the intention of like what I'm doing choreographically, but I'm really inspired by music. And I know a lot of dancers and choreographers would say that, but truly, truly, like it's the music first that I feel is what speaks to me. And then I want to move from that place, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. What what are some of the songs that you choreograph, like songs that you helped out others with?
I feel really connected to artists like Noah Kahan and Dermot Kennedy. So kind of singer-songwriter, more ballads, a little bit more emotional. I like using songs that allow dancers to be vulnerable. I feel dance is
Hmm.
often, and I love dance for this reason too, but dance is often very performative, and is very much for the viewer and the audience member, which is great. But I also think it's such a therapeutic healing modality too. And I think it's really nice to use dance for that purpose. I know for me, as I got older, that's what dance became for me, was something that I would use as a healthy escape in a way, like somewhere where I was able to fully be myself and express myself. So still now as an adult, I feel like that's a huge part for me is finding music that allows me to feel vulnerable and will allow others to also be vulnerable. Not that they need to be crying while they're dancing or anything, but just feeling comfortable to feel what they're feeling, and that might look different for everybody. So songs like that, but those artists are a couple that I feel help with that a little bit for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw like you also worked with Shawn Mendes. Like, did you chore do dance and choreography for Shawn too?
So I didn't choreograph it, but I did dance in a music video of his way back when I was
Really?
in Toronto. Yeah, this is when he was first starting out. It was probably like maybe 10 years ago now. So much has happened since then, but that was probably 10 years ago. Yeah. I did a music video of his, just dancing though in it. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. Like I love him. Like his music is so good. He seems like such a really nice person too. So like
Yes. Fellow
I love it.
Canadian. Mhm. Yeah.
That and you've done a lot of plays too, theater. And is there like any play that you had the most fun with?
Um, In terms of theater, most of my career has been like film and TV stuff, like
Hmm.
TV shows and movies. I've the theater stuff I've done, honestly, I would say my favorite would have been Cats, at
Oh
Rainbow
yeah,
City
okay.
in Winnipeg, because it was actually my first professional theater job. And I just remember I was 16, I was so young, and everyone just kind of like took me under their wing, and it was such a beautiful experience. Also, it was in my hometown, so I was able to have so many friends and family there, which now
Hmm.
I don't live at home, so my family doesn't watch me perform or dance anymore. So it was nice. I remember it was really nice having them be able to be there and support. And yeah, Cats is a great musical. It's so theatrical and so dance heavy, which I love too. So I think that was probably my favorite theater job. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, nice. And now when you got into doing like film and television, looks like the first role that you had, it was actually a show that I used to love, Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. Was that
Yeah.
like the first thing you ever did?
That was my first professional film job. Also, ironically, back in Winnipeg, of all places, which is my hometown, which is a small city where jobs like that aren't really happening very often. So it's kind of ironic, but it turns out that was also where it was. And that was a TV show, yeah, that filmed in Winnipeg.
Hmm.
And I would have been 16 or 17. I was still in high school at the time. I hadn't even graduated yet. And it was really fun. Yeah, it was a really good time.
Yeah, I remember when that show first was out, and I just happened to be flicking, and I'm like, oh, this actually looks like a fun show, and I watched like the whole entire season, and then I think it was canceled after the first season. But
Hmm.
it was a really fun show. I liked it.
I liked it too. And I got to dance with my dance teacher at the time, Kelly Swan. She was in the job with me, which was really exciting. So
Oh
yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Hmm.
And sticking to the horror stuff, because Todd and the Book of Pure Evil was like a horror series. You were
Yeah.
in the Strain too, and I have to ask, is it fun to play a creature of the night?
Honestly, it really is. And we were often doing night shoots. So we really got to get into character because we were filming often at
Nice.
night in the pitch black, often in winter on these like freezing cold streets in Toronto. And you're like laying on the concrete dead at 3 in the morning with freezing rain pouring on you. Um, it genuinely was so fun. I did all 4 seasons of this train, and Roberto Campanella was the movement director for that. Shout out Roberto, he's incredible. And it was such a fun job. We had contact lenses and prosthetics. It would take us between 3 to 4 hours each day beforehand to get ready. Like that's how long we would be sitting in the chair getting our like prosthetic pieces on, and
Oh my God.
it was such a lengthy process, but it was so like the prosthetics team killed it. Like it looked so good. And then you're on set for 12 plus hours, and then it takes another hour or two to get out of it. So our days were usually 16, sometimes up to 20 hours. I
Ooh.
think my longest day was like
Oh my
19 or 20 hours. Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah. Really, really long. But when you're with great people, it's fun, Like it actually is really enjoyable. I loved The Strain. That was my first like big series that I did multiple seasons of. So
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
Wow, if you're there for all those hours, I guess you start feeling like a creature of the night. Like if you're
That's right. You really do. You start feeling like an actual vampire, like an actual zombie. It
I
really
know,
happens.
right?
You don't even have to get into character at that point. It's
No.
true. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of coffee and energy drinks?
Too much coffee for sure. It's hard not to, right? Like it's coffee, coffee, coffee. Yeah, 100%.
Right, yeah. And and I saw you also do like voice work too. And how do you find like the right voice and get your voice ready to do a video game like Assassin's Creed?
Oh, so I actually did motion capture for Assassin's
Oh,
Creed.
you did motion capture.
Yeah, so they put the balls kind of all over you. You're covered in these balls, and you have to be very, very, very specific with all of your movements because it's for a video game. So it was really interesting. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you have to be so like detail oriented, right? With every single angle
Mhm.
of your arm and of your leg. And I was dancing with my friend Jade Whitney. We were partners, and oh, we had a great time. That was such a fun job. Yeah, it's fun working in those mocap, the suits at the balls, and all. Like there's just you're covered in these blue balls, and the cameras are 360. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, now, did you ever play the game, the Assassin's Creed game that you did the?
I did. I'm not a gamer, unfortunately, so I didn't even play it. But I have a lot of friends and people who have said, "Oh my gosh, wow, I love that game," or "I know that game. I played that game." So
Mhm.
I have a lot of friends who've played it, but I haven't played it myself, unfortunately. One day, I will get to it. Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Have you?
I played all of them. Yeah, all
Oh,
the
cool.
Assassin's Creed games. Yeah, yeah, they're a lot
Nice.
of fun. It's a lot of action.
Oh, sick. Okay, cool.
And you also did like all three of the zombie films, and recently the Hen Danger film.
Yeah.
And how was it like doing all those, like the zombie films and the Danger film?
Yeah, honestly, the zombies films hold a really special place in my heart because I did all three and just like, working on a project for so long with the same people, you grow close to them, it becomes like a
Oh
family,
yeah,
right? And I just that whole cast, I love them all so much. And the first season, I actually dance doubled Milo Manheim, who I know you interviewed as
I
well.
did. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I love Milo, and he's incredible, and didn't even really need a dance double. But the first movie it's called Pumpkin, which means a miner has a certain amount of hours they can work on set, and then after that they legally can't work. So they would have me there so that I could film stuff like before or after he was done shooting from the back or shooting from the side or far away, so that they couldn't tell it wasn't him. Anyway, so I doubled him in the first one, which was really fun, and then also got to dance as myself in the Seabrook High School dance numbers and stuff. And yeah, all three they were incredible. Like that's back when I was living in Toronto too. So I had a great time on the zombies films. And then Henry Danger happened recently here in
Yeah.
Vancouver with Frankie Grande. And it was really, really, really fun. Heather Laura Gray choreographed that one, and she's incredible. It was so full out. We had a couple different versions of the dance, and the second version we filmed top to bottom. So it was like a 3-minute routine, which we filmed over and over and over and over. And it was so hot in that room. We were in these thick jackets. I just remember we were like,
Oh no.
it was one of those days on set that were like that was a tough day, but so worth it because it turned out so well. But it was a challenging day. But I just saw the movie recently and it turned out really, really good. So I'm happy.
It
And
was a good movie. I watched it.
oh, you saw it? Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
Now, Frankie seems like totally off the wall and funny, and is his personality exactly like how you see it on television?
Like Franchini, is that right? Franchini? Very similar. Yeah. Like, I mean, he is very like myself, dramatic, like that, and him and I have that in common. I love that about him. He's such a kind person though, too. Like he's such a hard worker,
Mhm.
so kind, was always like wanting to hang out with us dancers and just like, get to know each other, which is so nice. And you don't always find that with actors and with cast members. So
Yeah.
great experience with Frankie. But yes, he is always energetic like that for sure in the best way. Yeah.
So that's like pretty awesome. Like you got to be on set with him, and then Ariana Grande for Wicked. And
Yeah.
what was that experience like? Like actually being on set for this huge film, Wicked.
Both of the Grande siblings in the same year was a little wild to me. I like the full circle moment. I couldn't believe it. It was strange, in the best way. But yeah, working with Ariana Grande and Cynthia obviously as well in Wicked was just like a dream come true. I think that was such a highlight for me career-wise, just because the movie obviously was such a long time coming. Like, and
Mhm.
they invested so much in it. Like I know it was Universal's highest budget project, the first and
Oh
second
wow.
together that they've ever invested in. So, and I really believe that it shows, like you can see the care that was put into every single scene, the
Oh,
choreography
definitely,
team,
definitely.
the choreography team killed it. We had vocal rehearsals to make sure that we were singing appropriately and like harmonizing, and just they were so meticulous with even like the vocal and when we took our breath even so that it looked so realistic, right? That we're actually singing every single time live. And we did sing live, but they didn't record our voices or anything. But yeah, it just was like Such a dream, honestly. Such a dream. And getting to do it in another country too, like going to London, UK for the job
Mhm.
was really fun and exciting. Working with a different group of dancers, because I'm often working with the same kind of pool of dancers, whether it's in Toronto or Vancouver, there's kind of
Oh, okay.
a similar kind of small-ish group of us. So we're always working the same jobs together, which I love, but it's also nice to be surrounded by new energies, right? And be inspired
Yeah.
by people. So yeah, it checked off so many boxes for me. Like I'm so grateful for that experience, truly. Yeah, it was really fun.
Oh yeah, and the film was great. Like I saw both the play and the film,
Mhm.
and it
Yeah, me
it,
too.
it yeah, right. Like it was really good. Like I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for the second one too.
Same, same.
Yeah.
A- And doing when you aren't acting and dancing and doing everything that you do, what do you like doing during your free time?
I like to DJ actually. Right here is my DJ setup.
Ooh, that's a nice
Yeah.
one. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I started DJing a year or so ago. So DJing is like a new endeavor for me, but it's music related. I feel like it helps me understand music differently. It helps with my choreography. It really is kind of works in both ways. Like it's its own thing, but it also helps with my dance and everything too. Um,
Hmm.
so that, and then also I'm really, really, really into health and fitness. So I spend a lot of time on
Okay.
like self-care, meditation. I try to cook all of my own meals and all my own food myself. I'm pretty specific with my like diet. I work out every day, so I'm really, really into taking care of myself and strength training as well as something I'm really, really passionate about. But yeah, that really probably takes up all of my time. And then obviously seeing my friends.
Of
Yeah,
course. Well,
yeah.
like I've, I went on your page. Like you definitely are in amazing shape. Like you're definitely cut and toned and everything. So
Thank
you're whatever you're doing, it's definitely working.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's funny because if you go down far enough and you see me way back when, I used to be very, very, very skinny and not defined or muscular at all. So it's been a long journey, I will say, because I had a very, very different body type when I was younger.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What what are some of the foods that you eat? Like some of the foods you like to eat?
So I'm actually pescatarian right now. I've experimented with a lot of diets, and that's the diet I feel like works best for me right now, meaning I eat fish
Oh yeah,
only.
yeah.
So I don't eat other meat. I don't eat like chicken or red meat or beef or pork. I just eat fish. So therefore I eat a lot of fish. And I also eat a lot of tofu. I actually really like tofu. It's super versatile, super high in protein. You can do a lot with it. I like rice. I love rice noodles. Thai is my favorite type of cuisine, so
I
I'm always
love
making.
Thai. Yeah,
Isn't it good? Like,
it
oh,
is. It's so good.
always making Thai dishes like curries or pad Thai or like pad
Yes,
Khao.
yes.
Um, and then protein shakes like all day to keep up the protein as well. Yeah. So those are a few of the things that I like.
Okay, okay, sweet.
Yeah.
And do you have a cheat food that you like the most? Like, is there a cheat food for you?
You know what? A cheat food. Probably I'd have to say bubble tea.
Well, yeah, really. Well,
Bubble tea. Is it? I
is
don't even
that
know.
really is
Is
that
it?
really a cheat food though? Because it's tea, right? Isn't tea
Okay,
healthy?
wait. I'll pick a new one. I'll pick a new one. That's on the list. That's on the list. If I had to say, you know what it would probably be? Like a greasy brunch. That's not a cheap food, is it though either? I was gonna say like an eggs Benny. Eggs Benny maybe is kind of cheap food for me a little bit. I would say that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So like no pizza or anything like that, like a slice of pizza with the grease dripping off of it.
You know, I don't even love pizza that much. I know I'm crazy. If I eat pizza, it's like a traditional Italian thin crust like pizza,
Mhm.
which I'm like, does that even classify then as a cheap food? Because it's like not that. I don't
No,
know.
no.
I don't know. If I eat pizza, it's that kind of pizza though. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Ice cream, I guess. I would say ice cream. Ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm like searching for, I'm like, how bad does it go? Okay, ice cream. We'll go with that.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
And what kind of music do you like listening to? Like what's on your playlist?
Wow, I love such a wide range of music from pop to hip hop to country even. Like I grew up in Winnipeg, so I still have that like country music roots. Once in a while I listen to country, but um I would say the music I listen to most, and it does have a lot to do with the fact that I DJ as well, is house music. So I love like
Mhm.
disco house, I love tech house, I love straight up house, funky house. I even like just disco on its own, which is not house but similar. Um, Disco, just like old school, like classic disco. Love, love, love.
Nice.
So I listen to a lot of that kind of music. Anything that's really groovy that makes me want to dance.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and then if I'm not listening to that, I'm listening to these like ballad singer-songwriter stuff that I teach to, which makes you want to cry. So they're just like completely different, like truly the most opposite, but I love them both for very different reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think would be your go-to karaoke song if you were gonna sing something?
Ooh, go-to karaoke song. I think there's that song. I'm not a great singer, but there's a song by Jesse McCartney. What's it called? Love. I'm gonna search it so that I don't say the wrong title. Beautiful Soul. That's so cheesy, but
Beautiful
I think I'm
song. Okay.
yeah, Beautiful Soul.
I mean, I know him and his music, but I don't know if I ever heard that song.
Oh yeah. It
Yeah.
I think it's like a pretty classic, like cheesy karaoke song, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I don't do karaoke. I wish I did karaoke more. This is inspiring me to go do karaoke now, actually. I need to go sing the song that I apparently sing at karaoke all the time.
All right. Okay. And I'm a big horror fan, so I always ask my guests this: Are there any horror films that you like to watch?
Oof. So I'm a huge, huge fan of like M. Night. Any
Oh
of
yeah.
but I don't know if that classifies as horror. It's more like psychological thriller, right?
It's along the same lines though.
Okay, like it's definitely like, edge of your seat, jumpy. I love everything he does. Like I love, love, love The Visit. There's the
I
one
saw that.
with like the grandma and she's crawling under the house. Like I think it's or maybe that is called The Visit. Um, there's a newer one called You where they're like on the beach. There's so
Yeah,
many.
yeah.
That yeah, like I love those types of films. I guess they're not super horror, but any of M. Night Shyamalan stuff. Yeah, love.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. And are you more of a coffee or tea guy?
It's funny you ask this because I've been having convos with friends lately about coffee and tea, and
Really?
yeah, and how like I've cut out coffee in the past. I want to be more into tea. I love
Okay.
I love herbal tea at night, but during the day I do drink coffee. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, sometimes a little too much caffeine isn't great, obviously. So,
Yeah.
um, but to be honest, right now, yes, coffee 100%. I have a French press. I make coffee every day. I get these like nice local, they're not local, but I get it from a local coffee shop, like coffee beans. Grind them myself, do the French press. I'll have like 2 cups in the morning. That's
I
it.
like that.
And then I switch to tea, like herbal tea and stuff later in the evening, so I don't stay up all night. But I want to switch to more black teas during the in the morning. So I'm just doing like Earl Greys and kind of like those types of teas, and then switch
Mhm.
to herbal and only drink tea, so I'm not doing coffee at all. But it's a process. I did it for a few months earlier last year in like the spring. So I tried it out and I liked it, but it's just there's something about the coffee for me.
I
I love,
I'm the same way. Like I can't start my morning out without having a cup of coffee, and
you
it's
know?
it. Oh my, yeah. Like it
Yeah.
if I don't have it, like I'm like mad and I don't want to talk to anybody. And yeah, it's crazy. It
You
is.
get
It's
into that
crazy.
space. I know a lot of people do, right? It's hard. Like I'm trying to tell myself it's just the fact that it's a warm drink though. And I'm like, I could have any other warm drink maybe, like, and it would be fine. So We'll see. Maybe I'll do the switch over soon, but coffee for now. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And are you more of a dive bar or club guy?
As I get older, definitely more dive bar. Like I can go to a club once in a while and have fun, but I think if I'm gonna do that type of a party, it's more like a music festival, and I'll go like
Yes.
do a
Yeah.
full festival for a few days. That's still very much like something I love doing. But more casually, we're talking, weekend while I'm in the city here. I'm more so going to a dive bar or a lounge even and getting like a cocktail
Oh, yeah,
conversations
yeah.
with friends, like more that kind of world. So yeah, I would say that over the club now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I, I don't know what I would choose, to be honest. I
Yeah,
do
well,
love, yeah, I don't know. Like I do love a good dive bar, but then I always get that itch, that urge to go clubbing, and because I love like club music and stuff, and
yeah, yeah.
the so I yeah, probably I don't know. I don't know. It's like a toss up.
It's funny, you can often start at the dive bar and then you end up at the club later. So it's like you're doing
True, true.
I can relate. Yeah, I feel that too. I want to dance. Sometimes you just want to dance, and you can't always dance at a dive bar. So
I mean,
I agree.
you can dance at a dive bar, but it's not fun.
Yes, yes, that part. Exactly. It's different. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there anything coming up for you that you want to plug? Like any film or TV you're working on, any kind of dance stuff you're working on?
I am about to start my judging season. So I'm gone the whole spring judging dance competitions, which is really fun and exciting. So I'm about to travel just kind of all over Canada, Halifax, Toronto, Quebec City, and judge, which is really exciting because I get to like help inspire the younger generation, which feels very full circle for me because that's how I grew
Hmm.
up with competing in competition dance. So I'm currently in my teaching, choreographing, and judging era of the year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So no film and TV stuff right now, but there will be more in the future for sure. That's where I'm headed in the next few months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where can fans follow you and keep up with everything that's happening?
So Instagram is a good place. That's where I post most of my content. My Instagram is at Prince Kyrzyk. That's Kyrzyk, my last name. And then my DJ account is at the Just Mercury. So those are two places. One is more DJ, one is more personal and dance stuff, both on Instagram.
Awesome, buddy. Well, thank you so much for taking time. It was really nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Likewise, I had a great time.
Hey, if you're ever in Philly playing a gig,
I will
you
hit
know,
you up
we'll, we'll definitely have a drink if you're in Philly.
at a dive bar.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Awesome. I love that. I will definitely hit you up when I'm in Philly.
Okay, sweet, sweet. Well, have a really great. Isn't it's nighttime, right?
It's actually 2:43 p.m.
Okay,
in
so it's still
so
early yet
I
for
still have a
you.
day. Yeah, I have a bit of my day left. So yes, thank you, and have a good evening for yourself.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, take care.
Bye, you too.
Bye.